Joshua Tucker. I'm the Director of Digital Engagement here at TVU Networks, and I'm joined by my good friend James Crossan. He's the Senior Product Manager over this wonderful solution we're going to be going over. And then, of course, we have the VP of Product Management, Matt McEwen. And Matt's going to be hanging out in the background answering some questions you all might have. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize is that there is a Q&A button down below on the interface. If you have any questions during the entire presentation, feel free to ask them at any point. We have a team of people that are working to get those answered as quickly as possible. However, there will be a formal Q&A section at the end. But again, we're working to really try and get this about 30 minutes, but we'll go a little bit over if we have enough questions. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you are wondering, who is TVU Networks? Well, I have the answer for you. We've got about 20 years of experience in the media and entertainment industry with really an emphasis on live transmissions. And we do about 10 million hours of live transmission per year. And we're very honored to serve more than 4,000 customers. And that number is growing every single day. So we're so excited to have so many new faces here as well. And also, we always want to talk about that we're an Emmy Award winner because we're really proud of the kind of awards and success our technology has seen. But one thing I really want to emphasize is what makes us a little bit different than some of our of the other vendors out there, right? Is that TVU has a DevOps process that allows us to do execution methods and creates an atmosphere for us to do unprecedented experimentation that allows for problems to be solved as quickly as they arise, right? We're not waiting for the problem to come up. We're talking to partners, we're talking to customers and hearing everything that you all say so we can solve these issues. And that is exactly how the product we're about to talk about came to be. But what I want to start with is just kind of an overview of one specific part of the media industry. Now, one of the most important parts of media operations in regards to a TV station or to a broadcast company is a video router. Now, I'm sure many people here know what a video router is, but simply put, is that it brings in signals and it routes them to their corresponding destinations. And one thing to note and want to make sure that I talk about multiple times is that generally, and especially in a TV station, is that these routers are very SDI centric, right? You're going to hear that again multiple times. So we have these routers that can be, 100 by 100, right? They might be dozens of ports, right? Dozens of things, and they can get very expensive, right? In the upwards of millions of dollars if we're looking at outfitting an entire, an entire affiliate group, right? And so they come in various sizes, small, large. You get the idea, right? So the challenge that we're facing and the industry is facing is that you have all of these different type of IP feeds coming into the broadcast hub, right? You see this graphic here. We've got HLS decoders and encoders and NDI and SRT and Zixi. I'm sure many of you are using TVU equipment, right? Whether it's TVU grid feeds or you have packs or, you have another vendor's packs, right? All these type of feeds are being brought in and they require decoders, right? And we know many of those decoders can only handle certain types of feeds. So then you have a dedicated decoder tied up to the corresponding ports. And that's really only part of the story. Today, more and more outputs need to be IP, whether it's internal or external. And then you put a large number of encoders on the other side. And then you really can't forget the other element that causes headaches as well, is that the video scalers have to be in place to make sure that, it's the right format, it's the right bit rate, whether it's going to Twitch, that's a different bit rate than other platforms, right? If you're going to TikTok, you get the idea of kind of all of these different pieces that are required. And one thing that I really want to emphasize is that the amount of content being shared between affiliates and viewers, and if you have interviews with experts, right? Or if you have Twitch streamers you want to bring in, or you are a Twitch streamer and you want to be able to collaborate with, other partners or broadcast companies, the number of feeds happening is not getting any smaller, right? It's scaling at an unprecedented way every single day. And also, our audiences are becoming more and more fragmented. And what I mean by that is they are looking for programs that are important to them. So you have these massive routers, and they are still being consumed very rapidly. So what do? Well, the TVU product team, and we got with our partners, and we started to really look at these problems. What if you need more ports, right? You have to get engineers involved. You have to buy more hardware. You have to run more cable. What if you need to scale a bunch of feeds for just the election or just one breaking news event? Do you want to pay engineers to change them? Do you want to take them off what they've currently been working on? So it's really this kind of push and pull of how much equipment do you want to have to buy? And so what did we do? we created what we consider to be the best solution for this problem. TVU Mediahub. And the concept is very simple. We can route from a source to any destination, anything in, anything out. And this becomes a single point for you to be able to manage all of these sources. Now, I can't get in the real technical elements of this, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in James to be able to help us navigate and eventually get to a demo to show off this wonderful solution that we've been working on. James, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got 2 sessions today, and it's a busy time to be in product. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me and all the people joining us from around the world.
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh. I'm really excited about this. As you were saying, I think MediaHub is really a unique product because, as you said before, right now there's, all of these different video feeds flowing through not only, an SDI ecosystem kind of on premise, but also all of these in the cloud. I mean, everywhere from YouTube to Facebook to TikTok to everything in between. And so there's this huge demand to be able to support all of that. And I think the traditional video routers that, have been kind of looked to provide this, just the fact that they're on premise and they're hardware based, they have a lot of limitations. And so what we've done is basically looked at all of those and also looked at what we've been working on for years now with our receiver and also a lot of our SaaS offering, and just the amount of inputs and outputs that we're able to support. And we've basically, combined or coalesced all this into TVU Mediahub to handle all of that, routing where you need different resolutions of video inputs going to different resolutions and bit rates and scaling and all of that for your outputs, and basically provided all of that extreme, complicated power functionality, but put it underneath this very, very simple UI that I'm really excited to show off today, where it's just couldn't be any easier to manage all of this video routing. So I'm really excited to be able to show everyone what we've been working on.
Yeah, of course. Let me just jump on the next slide and we can kind of get into that UI for just a second. But this is very basically what the UI shows. And it's the anything in, anything out. You see on both sides, you've got the different types of feeds and things of that nature. But this is really just a teaser, right? I want to go ahead and jump into the main benefits that we have identified as what we think everyone should know as they leave here, right? So James, can you run through these really quickly? And I'll be honest, we're going to hit on these multiple times just because they are so key to what makes TVU Mediahub special.
Yep. So, starting with basically our cloud native approach to our solution. So we are providing all the power of the cloud for this video routing. So no matter, if you're using our products right now, or, if you want to try it out, just that scalability and that on-demand kind of SaaS approach, I think is really revolutionary here to support any type of live production. And then, of course, not only that, but just the compatibility with any type of input and output, not only on the video, but also the audio side, and all of that's seamless. And then the fact that it's, unlimited scalability with the cloud. We do provide the ability to add this or deploy this on premise and also kind of bleed into the cloud on demand if you need it. So we do have that unlimited scalability in place here. And then, like I said, with that, this is kind of a hybrid model. So you've got both the ability to have this deployed on premise with your own hardware, or easily into the cloud and all in between. So anyway, it's a very, very powerful solution here.
All right, James, I'm going to ask you to put your money where your mouth is, right? We want to show, not just have to tell them. So go ahead and take over and you can give us a demo of just how simple it is to use.
Absolutely. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. So let's say, I'm an operator and I've come in for the day and I've been assigned to switch, the show. Let's say I'm working on a morning show. And, I don't know, I'm not an engineer. I just, have been given this tool, TVU Mediahub, to basically switch the inputs that you see on the left-hand side of the sources to these output projects that I'll explain here in a minute on the right-hand side. So really is as simple as literally dragging the source from the left-hand side to the output that you want to take it live to. And that's as simple as it is and as simple as it ever going to get. So literally you can just easily, find your source, whatever you're looking for. You can search for it if you need to. We've also added tags and different entitlement, which I'll discuss in a minute, to be able to sort and organize and make sure, only the right folks have access to those things, those sources and outputs. But literally just, dragging and dropping. So if I need to route a different source here, I can just drag it over to the output and take it live to that output. So, on the source side, adding these things, let's say, the day before, if I'm kind of switching roles into the engineering side, and I need to kind of get this ready for the morning show for that operator to be able to just simply drag and drop. All I need to do is basically add my sources. So I can just give it a name, and then you can see here, it's just a matter of adding that URL, whatever type of protocol you're looking for, we can support it. So it's just a matter of adding whatever the input protocol that you need and the URL that we're going to be pulling from or decoding, and then creating that source. So you can see here, I've added these sources that way. And then when I'm taking these live to my morning show, of course, it's not just, going live to my Facebook page. We can basically, what we've done here on the output side is presented a project-centric approach. So you have basically, you have the ability to have multiple different outputs and destination types all combined and part of this project. So in this case, I have my morning show, which I am sending to, out to HLS, also out to SRT. If I also need to then send it to my video router on premise, we support on premise as well. So I can just simply add that here and save it. And now I'm sending it to my video router as well. So it's all wrapped up inside that output project, and it makes it really easy. Again, coming back to the operation, it's as simple as finding the source you need and dragging it to that output. So it really couldn't be any simpler. And then, of course, you can see we have the full frame previews on the right here to kind of keep an eye on the health and whatnot. But I mean, it just doesn't get any simpler than this. And all of it, all that scaling, all of the decoding, all of the encoding, all of that's handled on the back end. So all you need to do as an engineer is basically tell us what you need. Where do you want to send this to, and how does it need to be delivered? So you can see all the different settings here, and you can put in all those parameters, and then we take care of everything. It doesn't matter what the input resolution or the protocol that's coming in. We'll handle that decoding and encoding to deliver it, and with the compliance that's needed for that, those different outputs that you've configured.
Wow. I mean, it's incredible. I've obviously seen this grow over the last couple months, and our partners have as well. But one thing I really kind of want to make sure we hit on also is that I think sometimes engineers, and I know it was when I worked at a TV station, they don't want anybody touching a router, right? They're like, yeah, like it's set up for the most part. Like, yes, there's very basic people that might be trained and things of that nature, but engineers are able to kind of set this up, then allow the correct people to control this. We're not saying, hey, give this link to, somebody who might not understand it, right? You can set gates, you can set, permissions and things of that nature, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So as you're, adding sources or adding output projects, we have a fully, object-based entitlement system in place where you can say, okay, I only want this group of users to be able to access this source, and I only want them to be able to route it, or I only want them to be able to preview it, that type of thing. So we do have pretty robust entitlement in place for this UI.
So we're already starting to get some questions in. I knew it was going to happen as soon as we showed this demo. People are excited. I see Matt's answering some right now. Again, Matt's going to answer some of them, and then we're going to come back to the questions that we're able to at the end. So James, I'm going to go ahead and take the screen share over from you as we kind of go dig into a little bit more about some of the use cases and things of that nature. So really, we've hit on this, right? And I think this might come as a surprise if you look at TVU and how much we've been pushing our ecosystem, and we're very proud of our ecosystem and our SaaS products with TVU Grid, TVU Anywhere, Partyline, Producer, right? The list goes on and on. But this is not dependent on the TVU ecosystem. It works as a great part of it, right? But you do not have to have our packs. You do not have to have our receivers. Can you kind of dive into a little bit more about that, and also about the the on-premise portion of this product?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said before, we have, packs and receivers and all, many different types of solutions that I think a lot of folks here are probably using already. But if you're not, or if you just want to try out this TVU Mediahub product, it's easy because it's all cloud-based, it's cloud native. And it's also, we have the ability to deploy this on premise as well. So if you want to, procure your own hardware, and then deploy that basically software to facilitate that encoding and decoding and scaling, you can bring your own hardware, and we can deploy it, or you can deploy it, and then again use the same interface that I showed you before to do all of that. Also, if you start out, maybe you want to just deploy on premise to begin with, but then you have a big breaking news one day where you've got, this, you need to have 200 inputs, and you don't have the hardware to support that today. Again, you can easily bleed into the cloud. Or if you don't have any hardware at all, and you have never even used TVU, and you don't even have TVU, sources or outputs or anything like that, that can be also totally facilitated through TVU Mediahub and on demand. It's as simple as just signing up and starting to add your sources and your outputs.
And when we say hardware, we're not just referring to, receivers in that regard, right? This can be hosted on computers as well. So I know there's some Twitch streamers, some smaller production companies that are joining us as well. This is not just the type of solution for these massive companies, right? If you're a house of worship, right, and you need a router, and you're looking at the bill thinking, how do I afford this $10,000 massive router, right? That's no longer needed, right?
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. So it's bring your own device. It doesn't have to be a TV receiver at all. So we can support, any type as long as it meets the specs. But yeah, we can support bring your own hardware.
That's awesome. Let's go ahead, and you were doing it live, so we wanted to kind of just show a little bit more about the user or the operator centric UI that we have going now that you're not having to worry about, uh, making sure you hit the right buttons and everything, right? Type everything perfectly. So this is kind of a chance for you just to kind of run over really how simple this UI is.
Yeah, sure. Well, it starts with just the simple drag and drop. It couldn't be any easier than that. Literally anybody could operate that. All they need to know is the name of the source, the name of the output project, and their master control operator switching these live sources. And the fact that we have the visual monitor of the inputs and the outputs, I think is also really, really handy. So you can keep an eye on what's the quality of your inputs and outputs very easily, kind of in a multi-viewer that's already kind of inherent in the UI. And then, like I said before, you can create any number of output projects, add any number of sources very easily. All you need to do is tell us where it's coming from or where it's going to, and kind of the parameters, and we take care of everything from there. And then again, of course, it's totally cloud-based, so this is something you can manage from home, anywhere. It doesn't have to be. It can be operated literally from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. And then, again, that scalability is just inherent. It's just as simple as adding, clicking the plus sign and adding what you need on demand. So again, if something's happening right now, you need all of a sudden, 200 outputs, you can add them right away. We'll procure all the resources you need, no problem. So it's all there, dead simple in the UI.
And then, of course, it's all saved in projects with the morning shows and things of that nature, right? We have morning shows, generally a news show, night show, and then on top of special project, breaking news. So it's already set up. You can set it up in however you want to be able to have those projects, which I think is super key for people to understand, is that you can set it up and then forget about it. And then, oh my goodness, there's a major breaking news event. It's time to bring in everybody, bring in all these feeds, bring in all these sources. And then when it's done, what happens? You just turn it off, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Nice. Let's go ahead, and we've talked a little bit about this in the demo and kind of as we started talking in the beginning, but I think we really want to emphasize here is that this is designed to remove the cluttered hardware, right? And it really allows for that rapid scalability and the simplified connectivity of what it takes to be a router in today's day and age. Is there kind of anything here that you want to add? I know we've kind of talked about this already, so we can keep moving on. But I think before I pass it over to you again, James, I think that's one thing I really want to emphasize, is that this isn't about like giving engineers less work, or so engineers don't have to do this, right? Engineers are working on massive projects and they are very busy. I worked at a TV station for 6 years. And there was always something going on. There was some corporate plan. There was always this, and this frees up engineers to be able to work on larger projects because something as simple as dragging and dropping can now do it.
Yes, and exactly, and you know, the other thing is just really coming back to the inherent limitations of that hardware-based video router, right? You're always having to think, if I need, you know, more feeds tomorrow, or if I need more outputs tomorrow, what do I need to get rid of in order to accommodate? So you're constantly always having to make those calls and those calculations. Whereas with this, you know, it doesn't matter if you need, you know, 200 today and 1 tomorrow. We can easily scale on demand. So I think that's going to really free up a lot of headspace for our engineers out there.
I know there's a chance that somebody at a TV station I worked at is watching this. So no, but I wish we had this. Like, it was one of those things of like, and training people to use the router that we had was the scariest part of being a digital content manager. I mean, it was just because if they hit the wrong button, the wrong feed could be taken the stream. What would happen constantly is if like we were broadcasting a game across the like a sporting event, and we had to block the feed from not going in, right? If that wasn't done, then there was a chance that we were running commercials across the feed, or we were streaming something we couldn't. So this allows for that problem to kind of go away, which would have been very nice for me. A little shameless plug there. But you know, we're talking about the that it goes beyond just cost saving. And I am seeing questions about the cost. I promise you that we're going to hit that in just a minute. But this really excels at new or occasional events or breaking news, right? Because of its ability to simplify the entire process, and you know, be able to have things that this sporadic event coverage. I live in Iowa, right? And a very sad story. 30 minutes from my house, there was a school shooting, right? And so and if you're in a smaller TV station that might not have a lot of resources, then if it happens in a smaller community, right, how do you scale up those number of feeds that are coming in? And this really allows for you to be able to do that. Anything here that I missed, James, that you want to add?
Yeah, just, I mean, you know, the fact that, you know, we're combining so many different things that I think people really have to, like I said before, do a lot of calculation and figuring out, okay, what do I have on hand? What do I, you know, what can I mix and combine? And it's just a lot of, you know, time and resource to do that. Whereas with this, we're handling you know, the decoding, the encoding, and the scaling in between, you know, seamlessly in the cloud. All you need to do is tell us what you need, what you have, where it needs to go, and then, you know, drag and drop. So it really couldn't be any easier, and it can be spun up to any number, you know, on demand, and then spun down depending on your use case.
The main thing that I want to hit here, and this is a reality because I have had friends, I have had coworkers go to stations, we've lost power before, is that the main thing about this slide is that you can't always plan ahead, and things happen. So your data center will fail, you could lose power. There was a TV station in Fort Myers that their entire production studio was flooded during the hurricane. Which hurricane it was lost is has evaded my mind, but you know, this is kind of a perfect backup plan as well, right? You can stay on air and take a feed from a source that has location, or whether it's your corporate offices or your corporate protectors that are putting in the feed, and you just immediately route it to your channel, right? And you're good to go. Or bring in a source in a very certain location, or excuse me, a very specific place where like maybe it's just one meteorologist that is just giving very basic information because that's all that's capable right now where that power is going out. So I think one thing in the cloud that we're really seeing is it allows for when things go wrong, you have a backup, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And even if, like I said before, you know, you start out on premise with deploying TVU Mediahub, we can easily and seamlessly bleed into the cloud. So if, let's say, your on-premise device you deploy this on has an issue, we can easily, you know, accommodate and make sure that you don't have any downtime. You have that full redundancy into the cloud kind of seamlessly. So, and then of course that if you can't get in the office one day, it's lost power and you need to run everything in the cloud, you know, it's available. The UI is available, you know, with a, you know, a web browser. So it's, you know, totally seamless there with redundancy and resilience.
All right, I would do the drum roll, please. I know everybody's thinking, oh, it's going to replace a $100,000 piece of equipment. What's the cost, right? And so we have priced this at an extremely low cost because we believe it is such a key solution that people need to be able to have, and it is the future of the industry. So James, you want to run through the cost structure and add any more details here?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, on the subscription side, and especially on the bring your own device side, we're basically our rate is $8.75 per core per month, and that's again when you're managing your own hardware for this subscription. Of course, depending on the number of cores you have, that'll give you, certain capabilities. So, you'd have to plan accordingly, but that's the price. Again, very low cost there. And then, of course, if you just want to run in the cloud or on demand, we're pricing this as less than $5 per hour. So it's, extremely easy, just even if you want to try it out, to get started and take it for a spin.
Now, I have a little bit of bad news for some people here, right? And good news for others, because there are people in this webinar that we've partnered with that have been here from the beginning to help create this product, and they're already using it. But me and James talked to Paul Shin, our CEO, and we did convince him to be able to allow a certain number of people to try out this product for free. Now, supply is going to be limited and slots will fill quickly. So if you want to be involved in this process, the product is ready, right? We were standing by it. It's being used. We're very honored to be able to say that Forbes has already signed on, and we have more as well. But if you want to be one of the first to get your hands on this, take out your phone, scan this QR code, and fill out the form, and we'll be reaching out with more information and more details very quickly, right? This is a product that we are getting in the hands of broadcasters just like yourself as quickly as possible. So again, I'm going to leave this up during the Q&A section. You guys have a little bit of a bonus, I will say, because you're mainly in the European, and the US time is about 4 hours. So again, don't wait. Don't delay. If you want to be a part of this, sign up now, fill out the form, and we'll be in touch. Matt, it is your time to shine. I'm kind of going through this question, and I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever been in a webinar where we've had more participants or more questions. So you've answered a lot. Is there any of these that you kind of want to immediately call out before I just pick one? Because they're all very good questions. I know we talked about cost. There's things of that nature. Some questions about latency. Which is there any of these that you want me and James to kind of tackle, or yourself?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of questions about latency. So perhaps you can just talk about the latency through the system, James.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. So we can add very sub-second latency, depending on what you need. For some kind of advanced like seamless switching, sometimes requires a little more latency, but it's, I would say, very minimal through our ecosystem.
That's great. Another question that was here was regarding 2110 IO and whether we support that, and also have we looked at JPEG XS. I mean, I can certainly say with JPEG XS, it's a format that we're definitely looking at. We constantly add new supported formats all the time. But do you want to just talk about 2110, James?
Yeah, well, 2110 is one of those that we're keeping an eye on as well. And I think, as we said before, because this is SaaS and we have a DevOps approach, we're going to be constantly adding more support. So as new standards come out and become qualified and adopted, we are going to be chomping at the bit to add them into this platform. So it's on a daily basis working on making sure we're supporting any and every protocol that's out there.
Right.
I have one question. Oh, Matt, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, please.
No, because I think I know the answer to this, because it works in a similar way of some of our other products. But when a change to a source is made, is there any cut to black?
No, we support seamless switching in this product, just like with our TVU receiver. So that's certainly supported here as well.
What I thought, just wanted to make sure, somebody is asking, do you support JPEG XS input sources?
Yeah, that's one of those that we're still working on. But again, we're going to be constantly adding more capability as new formats and protocols and all these continue to evolve. So that's one that we're still working on.
Okay, this is I think we covered this as well, but want to make sure that I think if one person's questioning it, then I want to make sure that we hit it. What about the different sources and video format conversion and frame rate conversion? That's all done in the video scaler, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And that's totally seamless and kind of transparent, right? So it depends on it really depends on where you want to send it to. We can handle all of that. So depending, it doesn't matter the frame rate or the resolution or any of that, we can handle all of that and deliver it to that that output, that destination that you're needing with the parameters that you specify, seamlessly. So you just need to let us know exactly how it needs to be delivered, and we'll take care of that for you.
So we're getting a lot of questions kind of about hardware specs in that regards. I know that there's a lot of different hardware specs. Is there anything that you can kind of say about how many cores, for HD video, if that's available, right? And this is one of the things that we'll be talking about when we select the accounts and the people that are going to be trying it. Is we're going to want to have a mix of different, hardware solutions and things of that nature involved in this first rollout, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, a kind of a standard or, low end 4-core machine can handle kind of a very basic workflow. And then, the sky is the limit as far as how much you want to, scale up and add more cores to support. But I think, 4 cores is probably a good kind of starting point.
So we are over time. Again, we knew that we were going to be answering questions a little bit longer. So we got about 5 more minutes of questions before we close up. Somebody's asking, can I merge different signals on one output, for example, with one signal with alpha channel or with other full frame?
Yeah, that's something that we're looking into as well. Right now, we're just handling kind of the basic switching, but we're working on adding any of those types of capabilities as well very soon.
Nice. Let me see. That's been answered. Matt, am I missing anything? I know we've got dozens of answered questions that you've hit. Anything else that we want to pull out that we see?
Yeah, what about frame rate conversion? Obviously, I think this has been designed to use a common frame format throughout, but how do we handle like scaling and frame rate conversion?
Well, as I said before, it doesn't matter what kind of frame rate you're bringing as a source. It depends on where you want it to go and how it needs to be delivered. We can handle that frame rate conversion for you.
Great.
This is a great question. I think this is somebody asking, does this work with Partyline, producer, and transceiver? James, I mean, the answer is a resounding yes.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It can work in any ecosystem, but obviously we're very proud of the ecosystem that we've built. It's what we stand by on a daily basis and what thousands of people use. So yes, it is the perfect companion for all of that. More questions. Again, yes, this does support SDI. James or Matt, you want to take us home with one or two last questions?
Let me just see. There's so many coming in. It's hard to keep up here, but let's see one that we haven't answered here. So what about IFB and TalkBack for interactive live?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we're supporting as well, like with our TVU packs and TVU Anywhere. Those are supported in the product as well. So adding, those capabilities from this is something that we can certainly look into. But certainly that's on the roadmap, and any of the capabilities, as Josh said before, that we already have inherent in the TVU ecosystem are certainly going to be supported very soon if they're not already.
There's two really good questions here. So I think I said two, but I think we're going to do at least two more, which again, this is a good thing. Please keep asking questions. We'll stay here for kind of until we feel like we're done. I might have jumped the gun a little bit there, but a lot of people still asking about the frame rate conversion. So I know, James, we mentioned a couple of times, an anonymous attendee is asking, do I understand correctly that frame rate conversion is something you do? And I'm assuming that you do, as in TVU Networks does, and not the user setting it up in the UI.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about adding that on the input side. Again, it's just something that the only thing you need to set up in the UI is how it needs to be delivered, what frame rate, what resolution you need on the output, and we will handle that as we encode and then send that to the destination.
And then Philip asked, does this run in the Docker if you run local, or does it have to be on a fresh machine?
Yeah, I think that we're going to be supporting just Docker for that. So it's something that can be deployed, in on any machine, regardless if it's a clean or being used, has kind of dual purpose.
And then a lot of people are saying, hey, I missed the beginning. Will this be available? Yes, we will be sending out. Also, guys, there is a second webinar. I'm not saying to sit through it again unless you really liked me and James and Matt, right? But if you think that this might be something that you want one of your coworkers to see, you can have them sign up and send them the link that you got to be able to join as well for our one. It's happening in, I guess, about 3.5 hours now. So it's 11 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, sorry, 11 o'clock Pacific time. So I'm really bad at the conversion for European time, but it's happening in about 3 hours and 25 minutes. So that's it's the exact same presentation. You're not missing anything. The only thing you guys have the leg up on is that you are already able to fill out the form and sign. And if you happen to have any issues with the form, if you're having any problems, feel free to email me at jtucker@tvunetworks.com, and I will get you set up. Everything, it appears to be working. We are getting submissions. I can see it. But if for some odd reason your button's not working, your phone's acting weird, or however it may be, again, jtucker, TUCKER, @tvunetworks.com, and I will make sure that we get you applied to that form as well. So I think that's going to do it. Any last question we have to see, Matt or James?
No, I think we covered most things. I'm just trying to type actual answers here, but this is great. We're building an FAQ, which is awesome. So
yes, yeah, all these questions are going in there, and then we be able to answer these as well during the next session. So thank you for everybody who came and joined. This was very proud of the team, very proud of James and Matt, and I know I speak for our CEO Paul Shin when this is probably the product that TVU Networks has been most excited about in a very long time. And we are very excited about all of our products we release on a daily basis, and features and things of that nature. So thank you again. And we will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.